Welcome back to Gearwire.com. I'm Owen O'Malley. We are taking a look at this guy. This is the Zoom H4n. The N stands for next generation, and this is the next generation of this guy, the Zoom H4, the original Zoom H4, which was a very popular little digital field recorder, stereo field recorder. The H4n offers several improvements. Obviously, the screen is quite a bit bigger, which is a nice addition. It makes everything sort of easier to do on the H4n. But the most notable improvement is that an extra mode has been added. Now, on the H4, there were two modes. There was stereo recording mode, and then there was a 4-track mode where you could sort of use this as a rudimentary 4-track recorder. Both of those modes are present and greatly improved on this guy. But there's also a 4-channel mode, meaning that you can record with both these condenser mics and these inputs. Ooh, sorry. And these inputs right here. So you can do 4-channel field recording with this guy pretty easily. These inputs down here are Combi XLR and TRS inputs. They do provide switchable between 28 and full 48 volt, or rather 24 and 48 volt phantom power, which is a little bit of the drain on the battery. But it's if you use a self-powered mic, like this guy, the Audio-Technica AT822, then you can do some pretty awesome 4-channel field recording. It's pretty nice. Let's listen to this guy in the 4-channel mode. First, let's go over some of the other new features. This guy's priced sort of to compete with some of the other higher-end prosumer field recorders like the Edirol HR9 or the Sony PCM-D50. This is the only one that records in 4 channels, though. You can also use an external mic. There's a little external mic input here. You just use a stereo mini input, and most sort of stereo consumer video microphones will plug right into this guy, and it can provide power through that input as well. It runs off either this AC adapter, which is included. It also comes with a windscreen. It also comes with a USB cable. It comes with Cubase LE because, like the Zoom H4, this can be used as a USB interface, which is a really great addition, I think, to these guys. It also runs off 2 AA's, which has a pretty long battery life, and there's also this thing called stamina mode, which inside the battery compartment here, you actually flip a switch to stamina mode. It limits your options, therefore, like you can only record in certain formats. You can't use phantom power, and that sort of ensures that you have the longest battery power life possible. Instead of going through all the menus and changing all these options, you just got to flick the stamina switch, which is pretty nice. You can see on the front here, the controls are pretty obvious. We're just in the stereo channel right now. Right here is our sort of like input matrix. As you can see, microphone is selected. We're in record standby, which is how we're listening through these microphones right now. You've got your basic stop, play, fast forward, track advance. This is access to the folder system and the file system right here. You can slow down the speed of a file that you're playing back. You can sort of quickly access format. You can record up to 24-bit 96K with this guy. For the microphone matrix, the input matrix. Okay, we were on 1.2 real quick. That was these 2 inputs down here. Along the side, we've got our volume output, USB jack. We've got our combination hold power switch. There was no hold switch on the original H4, which is kind of a nice addition. Here we've got our SD slot. We've got our record level, our input level, which you can switch as you're recording, which is kind of nice. Menu access, jog dial, which you also push to enter to choose menu items. This guy ships with a 1 gigabyte SD card, which is really nice. It's more than you sort of typically get. And it accepts up to 32 gigabyte SDHC cards, which is the higher capacity HD cards. So quite a bit of potential recording storage on this guy. Let's switch over now to 4-channel mode and take a listen to what you can do in 4-channel mode. Okay, so we're now in 4-channel mode. As you can see along here, all 4 of these input matrix lights are lit. So these microphones up here are now active, and we've got a microphone back here plugged into input 2, or input 1 rather. We've got an SR18 plugged into input 1. And we're gonna play and record a little song for you. You can get an idea of what kind of sort of more advanced demos you can do when you're recording into 4 tracks simultaneously. You know, one other thing I want to mention about these microphones is that they're saying pretty detailed condensers, electret condensers, as were on the H4, which are really nice sounding mics. These guys are upgraded because you can actually rotate the capsules now to switch between a 120 degree and a 90 degree XY stereo pattern. Okay, let's get back to recording in 4-channel mode. I've got a little drum beat that I've pre-programmed into the SR18 here. I've got my ribbon microphone set up for vocals, and I'm going to be using the onboard mics here to mic the acoustic guitar. Let's just get a little sit up here. Now, there are limiters and compressor presets set on this guy, which are pretty nice, I think. You can basically, you can set them up. You've sort of got 2 stereo channels that you're working with. You've got your stereo mics, you know, the built-in mics, and then you've got 1, 2 linked as a stereo channel. And you can choose different limit compression settings for those 2 stereo pairs. So right now, so because I've kind of got the drum machine and the vocal mic going into 1 and 2, they're kind of sharing a compression setting. It's called general vocal compression setting, which kind of ends up working for both of them. And then I've got a different limiting setting set on these mics right here, which is not quite as intense. Anyway, let's play a little song here. Okay, so I've got a little drum pattern pre-programmed into the SR18. Let's record a little song. This is a song that I did not write, and you may, in fact, be familiar with. Hey, let's hit record first, huh? And not the Tom Phil, sweet Tom Phil. All right. Recording.
People get crushed like biscuit crumbs and lay down in the bitumen. You have tried your best to please everyone, but it just isn't happening. No, it just isn't happening. This is your blind spot, blind spot. It should be obvious, but it's not.
Let's listen back to that. Recording.
People get crushed like biscuit crumbs and lay down in the bitumen. You have tried your best to please everyone, but it just isn't happening. No, it just isn't happening. This is your blind spot, blind spot. It should be obvious, but it's not.
So pretty cool. So now, how do you
change the volume levels of those tracks individually after you have recorded them. That's when you drop it into the multi-track mode, which is vastly improved on the H4n as compared to the H4 here. So we're going to check out multi-track mode in our next video on the H4n. Until then, I am Owen O'Malley, and you are watching Gearwire.com. See you later.